With Striker supposedly being the next class to release in the West, today we're going to be talking about the basic PvP identity and playstyle when it comes to Striker, which is also going to include the current meta build. Okay, so to give you guys a general idea on the basic playstyle of Striker, it's actually a lot like Battlemaster or War Dancer if you've played those classes, but it's just a more offensive version of it. You are essentially a combo-based, highly mobile class that can get in and out of fights very quickly and very efficiently. That's what you are as a Striker. Performance-wise, I've actually pulled up all the numbers from the rated arenas in Korea for the top 100 players. Okay, and everyone has their biases at the end of the day. Everyone has their opinions. So I wanted to just pull up the numbers so that you can make your own opinions. First and foremost, let me just say that the metas are different, and the meta in the US is going to be significantly more different because all the classes aren't going to be released, right? So just understand that as you look through this, as I explain this. The other thing is I pulled up numbers for Battlemaster because although I don't want this to be a Striker versus Battlemaster type of video, I did want to show this comparison because a lot of people are saying that Striker is significantly better than Battlemaster. I have my own opinions on that. However, I just wanted to pull this up because what is true is that Battlemaster and Striker are essentially the same class, only the Battlemaster is more of a defensive version and Striker is more of an offensive version. So I just wanted to kind of give you a reference point so that you can kind of see how they stack up against each other. So to kind of go over this here, this number right here you see on the left, 7, 13, 46, 54. This is the ranked player. So the 7th ranked player has played a total of 60 games on Striker up until today. And this is through the end of July, by the way, 2021. Has won 31 games, has lost 29 games with a win percentage of 51.7 degrees. 51.7%, sorry. Let me actually just make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay, so the 13th ranked player has a total of 23 games, 9 wins, 14 losses, 39.1%. Don't know why I said degrees. So we've got that, right? So as you can see, the 7th ranked player, 13th ranked player, 46th ranked player, 54th ranked player, they've all played a different amount of games. I've literally pulled up everyone in the rankings that has played Striker and Battlemaster, and these are what the numbers show. Okay, so to kind of summarize this, at the Grandmaster level, there's only one Striker. Grandmaster is ranked 1 through 30. The number 7 and 13 guy is actually the same guy. Okay, I know this for a fact. This is just an alt account. Okay, so there's only one unique Striker in the Grandmaster level, and he has a total win-loss percentage of 48.1% in the rated arenas. Of the top 100, there are a total of 8 Strikers. 8 Strikers with a total of 970 games played, 501 wins, 469 losses with a win rating of 51.6%. That's where Striker's at. Okay, if we take a look at Battlemaster, we take a look at Battlemaster, okay, you're going to notice the 41 ranked guy, 57th ranked guy, and the 61st ranked guy. I have no data on them. The game wasn't providing data for that, so I don't have it. But we do have enough data, comparable data comparable to this for Battlemaster. And as you can see, there are 0 Battlemasters in the top 30 that are Grandmasters. They're in the top 100. In the top 100, there are a total of 9 Battlemasters, 6 that I have data for, total of 1,462 games played, 803 wins and 659 losses with a win rating percentage of 54.9%. I almost said degrees again. I don't know why I keep wanting to say degrees. With a win rating of 54.9%. Okay, guys? So that's the data. That's what it shows. You can have your own opinions. To be fair, though, Battlemaster has been out a lot longer than Striker. Okay, Striker is the newest class, but that's where we're at. Striker structurally is very simple. Okay, you've got these 3 orbs here in the middle of the screen, or in the middle of your action bar here. And you can just think of this as a meter, just like a fighting game. Okay, as I attack this character, I gain meter, and you can see that the meter is starting to fill. And as I continue to fill the meter, when I get an orb, it starts to flash like this. And when I get enough, I can use meter spending skills, and there are a few. Okay, like these, the game translates them into ultimates. Excuse me. So we'll call them ultimates for now. And there are different ultimate skills that you can use. Currently in this build, I'm using one ultimate and it consumes 2 bubbles. All right. So for me to actually use this skill, I need to build meter. Now I have it. Now I can use this skill and it's going to consume 2. Pretty simple. Other than that, it's very straightforward. It's got nothing else, no stance swaps or any of that stuff. It's just the meter gauge bubble thing. So let's go over some of the pros and cons for Striker. We'll start with the pros. The first thing that really immediately stands out on Striker is their mobility. Okay, you have a lot of skills that move you around. Okay, it's just really good when it comes to mobility. The next thing they're really good at, which is actually kind of a flashy thing, is their combo potential. You can see that I can keep targets juggled in the air for quite a bit. A lot of these skills knock targets up in the air. Okay, so really good combo potential. That also comes with a hard freeze that I can ground a target and actually hard freeze them to prevent them from rolling. We're gonna go over some of this stuff when we go over the skills individually with the build that I'm running. But really good comboing potential there with Striker. And the last thing that I would say that is a big pro that I would say that stands out notably are the creative engages. So it's not very one-dimensional with the playstyle. I mean, of course, every class is one-dimensional to a certain degree. They have their own identities, but when it comes to meta builds, you can be very creative with the way you engage. So like, because I have so many skills that allow me to engage, like I can actually engage in 3 different pieces. I can go with Q here, W here, S, and then, you know, if I'm fast enough, I can go back into Q there. But as far as the standout pros, and I know we're not going over every single benefit of Striker. A lot of people will say, well, this skill is obviously a huge pro for Striker. Well, yeah, obviously this is a very key skill. We'll go over that later, but to just kind of give you a general idea, you know, they're very mobile. They have, they're really good at comboing. And they have very creative engages. That to me is what really sticks out for Striker the most. If we're going over the cons, there are pretty much only 2, but these 2 are really big, and they're the reason why Striker is actually not considered a top tier class. In fact, it's more towards the bottom when it comes to PvP. Very fun class to play. However, these 2 elements really plague it from being a top tier class. The first one being that it has a lack of protection when it comes to CCs. Okay, so it does not have super armor. It only has 1 super armor, and that's only for the ultimate skill that you have, this skill right here, which means you can't use it once it's off cooldown. You have to build meter to actually be able to use it. Other than that skill, we have 0 CC immunity when it comes to knockups. The other thing is that despite this class being a combo based class where you have these long flashy combos, all of it's unprotected. Again, the super armor thing, and the amount of damage that you get out as a Striker requires you to have these long combos and or use a single skill, not including ultimates, which takes forever. That's the skill. That's the hardest hitting single skill that we have. All of your other damage outside of ultimates, it's coming from long combos, and those long combos are all unprotected. And you can imagine that it can be very difficult to get those long combos out in a 3v3 scenario, especially when you're playing against better players that understand that fault with Striker and will punish that. When it comes to 1v1s, much better because there's no one that's going to interrupt you. All you got to do is catch your target. But when it comes to 3v3, especially at the higher up levels, it's going to be very difficult to actually get damage out. As far as the PvP stats go here, you're going to have to mind the translation here because like this is just not consistent with what's written here, although it is the same thing. So critical here is actually death. Okay, I don't know why it's translated that way, English patch. But the meta build that we're running right now is pretty actually universal for all classes. You have 1,000 points into agility. You have 249 points into subdue, and then you have 1 point into crit. Essentially, out of 1,250 points, you're putting 1,000 into agility and the rest of it into suppression, okay? We've got 1 into critical just to give us a home run chance to actually crit. And the rest of it is going into subdue, which is just going to essentially increase our damage on CC targets, okay? You could just think of it that way. So that's pretty much the meta build for the actual, that's pretty much the meta build for the vast majority of classes, not all of them, but the vast majority, and it's no different for Striker. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the actual meta build. Okay, we're going to actually be going in this order, Q, W, E, R, A, S, D, F, to kind of make it easier to follow along. This build right here is, again, it's the meta build that all the good players are using. Can you have variation from here? Of course you can. I encourage you to try different skills, to try different traits, but if you're here looking for a baseline on what the vast majority of the best players are playing, of what they're using, this is pretty much it. Okay, so we're gonna start with this skill here, and we're gonna call this by the name that's listed currently in this version based off of this English patch. There's a very good chance that a lot of these skill names are going to be different, so keep that in mind. The class is not released anywhere else other than Korea, so we have no idea what these names are going to be translated into unless I just missed something, okay? But as far as I know, I don't know of any actual names, English names, official English names for these skills, so we're just going to call them by the names that's listed on here, okay? So first, we have the Q skill. This is Cloud Dragon, okay? This is a very key skill, and the traits that I'm running here for Cloud Dragon, we're going 1, 1, 3. And I'm not going to actually go into each one of these traits, what they do, because that would just make this video way too long, and I want to keep this as short as possible. But we're going to go and show you what this skill actually does, okay? So you can see right here that it's a 3-part skill, and I can weave skills in between each skill. So I can go Q, W, Q, E, and then Q again. So you can see that I can actually weave different skills within the time frame of using these using this skill, right? Because this is a 3-part skill. This skill alone really makes this class like a very high skill cap class, because it's just, it gives you a lot of versatility with your engages and even disengages, okay? The first hit is a stagger, the second hit staggers as well, and the third hit actually floats. And there's actually good range on it. There's a lot of people that engage here, and you can actually get some, you can actually catch people off guard with it, with that level, with that stagger. I mean, that is just sneaky good range. Okay, so again, we've got Cloud Dragon, one of the key skills. I would say out of all skills that you swap in and out, that is not one that you will swap out. This is a very key skill for Striker and PvP. One more thing on Cloud Dragon, it has an 8-second cooldown, very low cooldown. You're going to be finding yourself using this skill a lot. More the reason to never swap this out when it comes to any PvP builds. It's just a very, very key skill. The next skill that we have is Brain, and I can promise you that this will not be called Brain when it comes to the NA version. Okay, for this skill here, we are running 3, 1, 2. And this skill is pretty much our movement skill, okay? This is used for movement. Does it do damage? Yes, it does. Should you use it for damage? No. There's 2 scenarios in which you use this skill. You either use it to engage in CC, in combo, or you use it after you've engaged and you want to come back out. Whether it's a juke move or whether you finish your combo and you need to get out, that's what this skill is for. Not a skill that I would run without when it comes to Striker PvP. Definitely another staple skill. Next, we have this skill right here, Wall Sumgok. I'm just gonna call this somersault, okay? Because it might actually be called somersault. You literally somersault, okay? So Wall Sumgok, I don't think anyone's gonna actually remember that if I call it that. Somersault, we're running 2, 1, and 3. And trading it this way allows you to pretty much get a quick gap closer in that does good damage and floats the target. Okay, so you can see it again. Good range, good damage, just a good skill overall. All right, so this skill right here, I do want to mention that you can replace this skill with maybe this right here, because this kind of serves as a similar purpose. This skill right here, you can actually turn into a hard CC skill, which I would not suggest because the freeze duration in PvP, if you do decide to run freeze on it, is only 1 second. The people that do run this at the Grandmaster level, they actually run, for the second trait right here, they actually run this. I believe they run 1-1-2. 1-1-2 if you do want to use this instead of Somersault. However, Somersault is the meta build. The other thing that I do want to mention about Somersault is that it is a big time, just getting rid of gauge there, it is a big time gauge generator. You can see that gave me a lot of gauge. That gave me almost half an orb. Really, really important. Orb generating skills, really important. The next skill that I'm running is Wide Explosion on my R key. This skill right here, we're running 3-3-1, and this is our hard CC skill. If I hit R, you can see that it actually CCs in 2 parts. The first is the original the initial freeze right here. You can see these guys freezing. And then that second little blow up period, that's also a float. So there's a delayed CC portion in it. Just a very, very good skill, good self-defense skill, good skill to use when you're engaging, good skill to use in your combos. If I want to go this way, juggle here, and then I want to freeze him on the ground, that'll allow me to get this skill off because the freeze duration is good. It's long, it's a hard CC. Maybe I want to engage here. Whoops, wrong skill, sorry about that, fat fingered that. Let's do that again. Maybe I want to engage here and get a hard freeze out. Maybe I need to peel a tank that's on my not a tank, I keep calling them tanks. Maybe I need to peel a warrior or warrior based class. I can go in there and just hard CC them, okay, to interrupt whatever they're doing. Just a really, really good skill here. So yes, another key skill for Striker. The next skill we have on our A key is called Room. This will not be called Room when it comes out into NA. The traits that we're using is 2-1-1, and this is our hard hitting skill. This is our hard hitting skill that does a lot of damage, long windup time, and unprotected. It does actually knock up, but it's unprotected, so you got to be careful when to use it. The other thing that I do want to mention is that, I'm just getting rid of meter here. The other thing that I do want to mention is that it actually builds gauge very well. It is outside of our, so far outside of the skills that we've talked about, it is outside of this skill right here. It's the second skill that we've gone through that actually builds gauge pretty well. There's 3 core skills that actually build gauge the most for this class, and that's one of them. You can see it actually builds gauge a little bit more than your Somersault skill. Gave us just over half an orb or half a circle. So another really good skill that vast majority of strikers are running. Next on our S key is called the Sleeping Dragon Ascension. So Dragon Ascension here, another really good key utility / CC skill, movement / CC. We are running 2-1-1 on Dragon Ascension. So essentially what this is if I point my crosshair here or my cursor here and I hold S, then I'm going to do a little slide, which also staggers, by the way, and then he does a little breakdance move there with his legs, and that actually floats the target. Okay, so I can actually get in here and CC them. I can cancel it early, okay, if I want to, or I could cancel it and just dash out and skip that second part. The first part, the little slide, is used quite often to move around. Very, very key skill for mobility, and having the extra float there really helps. We could actually use it in combos to extend the float duration. We could see here, if we open here and then we go into Cloud Dragon, we could actually extend the float even more by, going into Dragon Ascension. Okay, so another really good key utility skill, as you can catch people with it. You can maneuver, you can engage, disengage with it. Just a really, really good skill. The next skill that we have is Whisper of Lightning, and we go 4 points into this skill, and we pick up the third trait on the tripod here. And this skill is one of our faster hitting skills. If I hit D, you can see it's pretty quick, 360 AoE, but more importantly, it builds gauge very well. Okay, so you can see here, we're starting at a single orb, and if I use Whisper of Lightning, it gives me over half an orb. Almost, it gives me literally like 2/3 of an orb, right? So very, very good skill because it's got pretty good damage. It's quick, and more importantly, it builds meter. The last skill we have is the O's Lightning Strike. Okay, so Lightning Strike right here, we are going 2-2-3, and this is the skill that spends all of our meter or our gauge. Okay, and this is the one skill that has super armor to knock-ups, and this is just a very, very good skill. So I could use it, I could actually use it twice the way I've traded it, okay? So you can just get really good damage off. You can see right there, 52k going back and forth, hitting him twice. It knocks up, it floats, it's a very quick skill. A lot of maneuverability there. You could even use it to escape. Good damage, and it has that also important super armor that we don't have on any other skill. It gives us the ability to engage or disengage, mainly engage with protection outside of hard CCs, obviously. This is obviously a very, very key skill. You should not be PvPing without this skill. Definitely a core skill you need to be running when you're playing Striker. O's Lightning Strike. I don't know what they're going to call this in the West, but yeah, another staple skill that is a must-have when it comes to Striker PvP. If you'd like to see Striker in action, like and subscribe to the channel, as I'll be posting some PvP videos soon, or you can always just follow and chat with me on my Twitch, as I'm streaming 3 to 5 days on that platform. Links and schedule can be found in the description below. Moving forward, I'm focusing strictly on Lost Ark content, so let me know if you'd like to see more of this type of content for other classes, and if so, tell me which class, because right now I'm personally maybe thinking Bard or Zerker. I'm not sure. Let me know. As always, guys, happy gaming.